All right, guys, we're going to start today's program here in a matter of moments. The Thursday edition of the I Love CVille show. Take a look at the screen for today's headlines. Let me know if you see LinkedIn Live there, J-Dubs. If you want to slide that mic in front of you, I'll check the Facebook pages. Jenny Hu, thank you for the retweet. Very much appreciated. Viewers and listeners, like and share the show. That would mean the world to us if you could do that. Like the show, share the show. If you have questions, put them in the feed, and we'll relay those questions live on air. A lot to cover on the program. The Henley Middle School principal arrest is really shaking a lot of the western side of Albemarle County. Parents asking a lot of questions right now. I am seeing it live on LinkedIn, Judah. Nicely done. Very nicely done. I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about how the school board, I believe the school board meets tonight, Judah. If the school board will address this in any capacity. If this will be a topic in any open dialogue for community members, or if it's a closed session topic.
I'm guessing there's no way they go live with this.
Do you think they owe the community some kind of conversation or discussion, though?
At this point, not really.
And you say because not really why?
I think it's similar to what's going on with the UVA reports, the FOIA requests, and all that. I think it's a matter of anything that we know right now is pretty much pure hearsay.
How pure here? I completely disagree. What do you? There's an arrest record.
Yeah, and
It's not hearsay. She's facing 2 charges of assault.
Okay, what are the details of those?
She's made her first appearance in court on Wednesday. She's been in court.
Right. Do we have?
She's going to appear in court again on the 26th of August, 5 days after students return to school.
As compelling as those details are, they're pretty slim on actual information.
The court record is public.
Okay, well then let's get the court record.
All someone would have to do is look at the court record for the details of what happened.
Okay.
This is public record now. Hearsay is far from the right word to use. Far from,
Okay, well then what does the public record say?
we should take a look.
We should.
And
I
hearsay
agree.
is not even close to being correct. Hearsay is a rumor mill and gossip. She's gone in court. She's been arrested. There's documentation and paper trail.
Yes.
It's not hearsay. We'll talk about that today on the I Love CVille show. We'll talk taxpayer feedback on 4 parks. City Hall is asking residents how we can improve Court Square, Market Street, Tonsler, and Booker T. Washington parks. We have some ideas here on the I Love CVille show, how to improve these parks. We'll talk on today's program, Virginia being named the top state for business by CNBC yet again. A couple of food reviews for you. Judah wants to highlight disrupting traffic, Hydraulic and Hillsdale closed. And I'll highlight some of the athletes in the Paris Olympics. Viewers and listeners, join us for the conversation on the Thursday edition of the I Love CVille show. Judah, we can rock and roll when you're ready. Hearsay?
If you don't have any actual information, then any information you provide is hearsay.
Judah, the police have arrested somebody
Yeah.
based on child abuse charges.
Yeah.
She's the principal of a school. This is...
But those
Words matter, my friend. Wise man taught me
But
that.
those are all the details you have, correct?
Wise man taught me words matter. All right, let's rock and roll.
Quiet on the set.
Hearsay. Tell that to our children. Good Thursday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love CVille show. It's great to be with you on a downtown mall studio afternoon. Lot to cover on the program. Saw the headline break yesterday on CBS 19. I would think we're going to have more coverage on this topic from talented reporter Hawes Spencer in the very near future. Hawes Spencer, the courts and crime reporter for the Daily Progress, I would bet a 50 spot that he is looking into this Henley principal arrested on child abuse charges. We'll talk about that today. Interestingly, I believe a school board meeting tonight. Does Dr. Haas, the superintendent of Albemarle County Public Schools, address this in any capacity, or will the school board address this in any capacity? The principal of Henley Middle School, LaRuth Ensley, is facing 2 charges of assault in Henrico County Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court. She was arrested Tuesday for allegedly abusing a child, causing serious injury and assault on a family member, assault and battery on a family member. These are class 4 felonies. Both of the incidents allegedly happened on the 1st of May. This is the tip of the iceberg of this story. A principal at Henley since July of 2022. Parents left asking a laundry list of questions. Curious to see what happens next with this story. We'll unpack it today. We'll talk CNBC naming Virginia the top state for business in 2024. The Commonwealth of Virginia, the Old Dominion, has notched an unparalleled 6 wins in CNBC's annual state rankings for business. This is the 3rd victory in 5 years for the Old Dominion. Virginia beat North Carolina in this ranking. Part of the reason Virginia is being ranked the top state to do business is the robust quality of the public school system, high school, middle school, elementary school, and college within the confines of the Commonwealth. We'll talk about this. Folks, a startling statistic from yesterday's show. We've highlighted in previous programs the Weldon Cooper Center data on population, and the one that jumped out to Judah and I was the spike in population in Albemarle County. Was the number an additional 40,000 residents by 2050, Judah?
I think so.
40,000 additional people in Albemarle County by 2050. If Virginia continues to get ranked in the top state to do business, that trickle-over impact will certainly find Central Virginia, Charlottesville, and Albemarle County. We'll talk about that on today's program. I also want to talk about public parks in the community. City Hall is asking for us, taxpayers, residents, business owners, to provide feedback on 4 public parks. Those parks, some of them with dubious histories. Court Square, Market Street Park, formerly Robert E. Lee Park, Tonsler Park, and Booker T. Washington Parks. We will talk on this program, and we encourage you, the viewer and listener, to join us in the discussion. How can we make these 4 parks better? I have some very succinct answers to how you make these parks better, which we'll talk about on today's program. We'll talk UVA athletes in the Paris Olympics on today's show. Virginia's the University of Virginia, well represented in the 2024 Paris Olympics with swimmers, with rowers, with a head coach, with women's soccer player, a men's soccer player, with tennis stars, with track and field athletes, with equestrian athletes, Paralympic athletes. University of Virginia continues to shine in the national spotlight. Also on the program, little food review action. I had some of the best egg rolls I've ever had in my life. You like a good egg roll, Judah?
Sometimes, yeah.
The duck egg rolls at Dooner's are out of this world good. Maybe the best egg rolls I've ever had.
They have the thin and crispy skin or the puffy fried skin.
I'd say it's a good mix.
What?
It's a good mix of both. I know what you mean by the puffy fried skin. Is your concern it can be too bready? It can overwhelm the flavor?
Yeah, they're kind of chewy.
It's not like that.
I like the crisp ones that are thin.
Yeah,
and
I'd say it's more like that.
almost translucent. Oh, those are the good ones.
This one a little, not quite translucent, but not thick with the batter either. I know what you're talking about, where the thick batter can overwhelm what's inside the egg roll.
Yeah.
Talk about that on today's program.
It also doesn't age well.
It doesn't age well. Wow, you're talking post dinner in a doggy bag.
Yeah, I'm talking once they cool off. If you stick them in the fridge or whatever, those ones they get soggy, and I can do without that.
Nora Gaffney, thank you for watching the program. Viewers and listeners, if you could share the show, join us in the discussion, spread the gospel. We work hard for you. The only thing we ask in return is a little bit of love by subscribing and hammering that like button for us. Top state to do business. I want to unpack the story, top state to do business, on what the cause and effect are. I also want to unpack the story from a resume builder for Glenn Youngkin. Agree or disagree on this? Glenn Youngkin is looking very presidential right now.
You think he paid someone to write that article?
No. I think that was a joke, right? Okay. Very presidential right now for Glenn Youngkin? Disagree or agree?
He's made some pretty interesting moves in the last few weeks, including one that we talked about with the
banning of cell phones in schools.
Yep.
We talked about that yesterday. We had a great discussion on that. I thought you provided fantastic ammunition for that discussion. You and I are in slight disagreement on how it's going to be. Well, I think we're in agreement on how it's going to be enforced. I think the teachers are going to enforce it. I think you also genuinely think the teachers are going to have to enforce the cell phone ban as well. But from your standpoint, you say it's an indictment on public schools that teachers are going to have to be the cell phone police.
Yeah, I think ultimately the problem is that obviously this shouldn't be an issue that the teachers have to enforce, and in fact, I don't think they can enforce it. In fact, I would say it's impossible for the teachers to enforce it. If there is no support from the schools and the school boards, then as a teacher, I would completely ignore the mandate because there's nothing you can do. And it's definitely not a teacher's job to jump in and we've seen the students fighting in the halls. There's no teacher that's going to want to try wrestling a kid's phone.
Nor should the teacher have to do that.
Exactly.
Kevin Yancey, welcome to the program. He highlights charged, not convicted with the Henley Middle School teacher.
Exactly.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. Does the Henley Middle School teacher, will she be the principal of the school on the first day of school? 21st of August. Will she be the principal of Henley Middle School on the 21st of August? We'll talk about that on today's program. First, we should talk Youngkin. Youngkin has been in the news left and right. He's doing the media circus now, the media circuit. He was on CNBC this morning. And when he's on CNBC this morning, he's highlighting the data centers in Northern Virginia. This was a startling statistic for me, okay? Two startling statistics for me. An estimated 70% of global internet traffic flows through Northern Virginia.
Wow.
70% of the world's internet traffic goes through Northern Virginia data centers. Is that mind-boggling?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They highlight the data centers in Northern Virginia and why Virginia is the top state to do business. They highlight the public school systems in Virginia, elementary, middle, and high school, for why Virginia is the top state to do business. They highlight the public universities and colleges, the historically black colleges in Virginia, as why Virginia is the top state for business in the nation. The Old Dominion has been ranked number 1 in the United States of America 3 of the past 5 years. They highlight 121 million people within a day's drive in Virginia. Its accessibility is one of the top states to do business. Glenn Youngkin is grabbing this award and this accolade and wearing it as a badge of honor. Yesterday, he's in the national media because of his policy, his new ban on cell phones at public universities. Today,
You mean public schools?
or public schools, thank you. Hold me accountable there. Today, he's in the national media all over it because Virginia is the top state to do business in the country again.
He's also in the media, he's also in the news because they're talking about how vice presidential he could be.
That's reading my mind. You're reading my mind. I'll take it even a step further than this. Right now, could the governor of Virginia, could he beat both Joe Biden and Donald Trump?
No.
You do not think, you don't think he could beat Joe Biden?
No.
That's bananas.
You're saying if he ran as a third against
No.
both of them?
No.
Or if he took Trump's place?
If he took Trump's place, he'd beat Biden.
In that case, I think he might possibly do it. He's young, he's new, he's definitely not old and decrepit like the two guys we're voting on now.
Jesus.
I mean, it's not wrong, is it?
Old and decrepit.
Call it my opinion.
Some
but
respect for the old and decrepit. Okay. You read my mind.
did I?
A boatload of national press, all seeming to be timed around what could be a move to make him Trump's vice president. Is that what's happening here?
It could be, and it wouldn't be a horrible play on the part of Trump and his team, especially with all this recent news. Good press.
Good press. More of a center of the aisle Republican.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the checkered history.
Right.
Upset McAuliffe in the Commonwealth in what was clearly an upset. Although McAuliffe stuck his foot in his mouth 3 times when it came to parents and schools. That's why McAuliffe lost. Youngkin uses public schools to win the governor's mansion. He's got a fantastic track record when it comes to business. The only issues I've seen Youngkin do, and maybe it was strategic why he did them, was what he's doing to the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
It seems the opposite of a free market, free enterprise business guy, what he's doing to cannabis. But maybe he's doing that.
I mean, conservative is not necessarily pro-free market. Just going to throw that out there.
Most conservatives are pro-free market.
They'll say they are.
Most conservatives bill themselves as free market business.
The key word there is bill.
Okay. I would say Youngkin is a free market business guy.
He may seem that way, but
His stance on cannabis notwithstanding.
yeah, the proof of the pudding is in the crust.
Okay, so what has he done wrong to keep him from being are we looking at the vice president right here? Viewers and listeners, are we looking at the vice president with the governor of Virginia? Kevin Yancey says no chance. Absolutely no chance.
But is he talking about as president or vice president?
No. Oh, great question. Yancey, are you talking about president or vice president there? No chance. Janice Boyce Trevelyan, I'll get to your comment in a matter of moments. Philip Dow, we'll get to your comment in a matter of moments. That would be a pretty compelling ticket.
Yeah. I mean, I've had problems with him, and I've mentioned them on air. I didn't like his immediately turning to mandates just after getting in office, because I didn't like mandates on the other side. But
Philip Dow says he agrees and surprised he's not already the VP. If you're just tuning into the program, as you put the first lower third on screen, for the third time in 5 years, the Commonwealth, the Old Dominion, is the top state in the country for business. Absolutely unbelievable. What shocked me from this story, 70% of global internet traffic, the world's internet traffic, flows through Northern Virginia. Janice Boyce Trevelyan says that is a shocking statistic, and what's even more shocking is the fact that Louisa County isn't completely connected internet-wise. And that's shocking.
Louisa, it's been in the news a lot lately. They've got a nuclear reactor coming soon.
Dude, I would stay the hell away from Lake Anna right now. You got the what? The E. coli?
Yeah, E. coli. You got people going out boating and disappearing.
Disappearing people on boats, drowning, E. coli, nuclear plants.
I mean, yeah, this sounds like the start of a Scooby-Doo plot.
Scooby-Doo plot. Yancey says, no chance he'd win the presidency. How about the vice? Is he the vice president, Kevin Yancey? All right, the next headline is a sad one, is an unfortunate one. It's a disheartening one. How would you characterize the next headline? As parents.
Man. If I was a parent?
Deep Throat, number one in the family, says, another great Matthew Haas hire, the principal of Henley. It's been a tough road for Dr. Matthew Haas, the superintendent of schools.
And
you can push back on the Haas hire
of
there.
all the things you'd hold his feet against the irons for. I don't know that I'd hold this against him.
I think that's fair. I think he needs to respond to it, though.
Yeah.
Do you think he needs to respond to it?
At some point, I don't think it's.
Does it happen tonight?
I don't think it happens tonight.
It doesn't happen tonight at the school board?
Maybe hearsay is the wrong word.
Hearsay is definitely the wrong word.
But if nobody at the meeting has FOIA'd any information or gotten the court records, then anything anyone says is pretty much rumor. Aside from what you just read,
LaRuth Ensley, the principal of Henley, is facing 2 charges of assault in Henrico County. She was arrested Tuesday for allegedly abusing a child, causing serious injury to the child, assault and battery on a family member. Both charges class 4 felonies. Both incidents allegedly happened on May 1. She's been the principal of Henley Middle School since July 2022. She made her first court appearance yesterday. School officials have not commented about this.
And the key word in all of that is allegedly.
She goes back to court on the 26th of August. Students return to school on the 21st of August. Will she be the principal of Henley Middle School on August 21?
Doubtful.
You say no?
I say it's doubtful.
I say it's administrative leave waiting to happen.
Even if she is exonerated, I'd see too many parents having questions that I think
the political backlash, the media backlash, the parental firestorm would be too much to overcome.
Yeah, I think so. I think from the school's perspective, it would probably be easier and faster, and I don't know. I think it would just be a simpler solution to find someone else. And
you have approximately 5 weeks to find a replacement.
I mean,
we're July 11th and school starts on 21st of August.
Charlottesville and Albemarle are, they're ranking up their skills in
Do we go to interim?
Requiring replacements.
Do we go to interim principal Kenny Leatherwood again?
Or
the Morgan Freeman of Charlottesville High School?
Not a bad idea.
This is the type of headline that no parent wants to wake up to and read. This is the type of headline that opens a Pandora's box of thoughts for moms and dads. This is the type of headline where parents are having conversations with their kids. Did anything happen to you?
Yeah, but as horrible as this all is, and whatever was done to a family member, it seems better than if she's been doing this to other kids.
How you put
You
that?
disagree? I mean, it's horrendous, but come on. Sorry. I just think that if the scope of this would be so much wider if she had done something to someone else's child, because then it could be anyone's child, and
I'll give you that. The scope of this would be so much wider if this was something that was done to a child at Henley Middle School and on school grounds.
yeah, I'm not saying in any way that this is good. I'm just saying that it could have been far, far worse.
Deep Throat making the program better. He sends an article, Deep Throat, from 2014, the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Here are a couple of paragraphs. Huguenot High School Principal Jafar Barakard has been reassigned to non-school administrative duties pending the outcome of a misdemeanor assault allegation brought against him by the mother of his two youngest children. Superintendent Dana T. Bedden, then it goes to paywall. Hate the paywalls.
Yeah.
He highlights this is not the first time in the news for domestic issues for this principal.
Wow.
And shares a link to the Richmond Times-Dispatch article. The article headlined, Huguenot Principal Reassigned Because of Legal Action. Do we hear tonight at the school board meeting this at a minimum? She's on administrative leave pending investigation. Do we hear that tonight?
I'm sure, yeah. They've got to say something.
They got to say something,
Yeah.
right?
There's no way they don't address it, but the fact of the
Do
matter
they
is,
address it in closed session and give no transparency or communication to parents?
I mean, I would guess they give a statement like you said, but anything more than that is going to be,
Administrative leave pending investigation and what happens in the court outcome.
yeah. And especially considering what Deep Throat provided, they would be fools not to put her on leave. I mean, somebody is obviously going to have to answer for her being shuffled around, right?
Kevin, the mayor of Waynesboro says, could it be her child and she is being railroaded? It very well could be her kid.
That's the way it sounds.
It sounds like it's a family.
I'm not sure what the railroaded means.
I mean, the point you made is it's less significant.
I didn't know. You know that I didn't mean that it's less significant.
I
I just
but-
mean in the wider picture. If she'd been doing this to other people's kids, like I said, there's no telling how many children could have been affected.
I agree with
if
that
it's,
statement.
If it's family, at least it's confined to her family. As horrible as it is, that is for whoever was the recipient of the abuse.
I agree with that statement. That position, how you position it that way, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's all I meant.
Yeah, fair.
I certainly did not mean.
You're not marginalizing. I know you're
No.
not. The viewers and listeners know that. But you're saying if this happened on school grounds to other kids while she was the principal, then what the hell?
Then we could be searching. I mean, people could be looking for evidence for years and never find,
Right.
the range of who she'd affected.
This is what I would like before we get off this topic and go to the next one. I'd like the school board or the superintendent tonight. I realize they're going to be able to say very little. But what the community is owed, administrative leave pending further investigation.
Yeah.
we will search for an interim principal this summer and hope to have one announced before the first day of school.
Yeah.
They have 5 weeks to do that.
Right.
I think the community is owed that.
No doubt.
And then maybe you promote the vice principal, maybe you look outside the school.
Yeah.
Maria Marshall Barnes, welcome to the show. Thank you for liking the program. All right, next topic, Judah Wickower, if you could put the lower third on screen. The City Hall, Charlottesville City Hall wants feedback on 4 public parks. They want to improve the public parks, Court Square, Market Street Park, Benjamin Tonsler Park, and Booker T. Washington Parks. They're asking community members how to make these parks better, what they like about the parks. The city will incorporate the feedback from 3 work sessions into plans to improve each of these parks as part of a larger park and recreation master plan. Judah, is the clear-cut answer number 1 on everyone's list of how to improve Court Square Park, Market Street Park, Tonsler Park, and Booker T. Washington Park? Is the clear-cut answer associated with houseless individuals the first one?
I can't speak to Tonsler or Booker T. Washington Parks. I haven't seen a whole lot of issue at the Court Square Park.
And you walk by there every day, don't you?
I go through Court Square Park every day.
Twice a day?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Market Street Park, very often, almost without fail, except on rainy or exceedingly hot days, almost always has at least a few people in there. But by and large, I don't see them being disruptive or a problem unless you want a park bench. And so I don't know that I would, like I said, I don't know about the other 2. I wouldn't say they're necessarily a problem with Court Square and Market Street.
How do you improve the parks then?
Again, I think it's like everything I see in Charlottesville. It requires vision and it requires accessibility. Like,
okay. How do you improve the parks?
Do something with them. I mean, like the Court Square Park has a wooden bench that's missing one of the slats.
Okay, so you're saying more benches?
No, just they've been adding more benches to the Market Street Park. Moving, or at least moving some, and adding ways to, I guess, bolt them down. I don't know if that was a problem with people stealing park benches, but they're metal and they're heavy, and maybe they just don't want people moving them around. I don't know, but I just don't see any vision for what the parks are. You know, they took out the monuments, and they've done nothing with the spaces. Except plant some grass and maybe some bushes, and it feels unfinished.
Okay, how about this question then? Why don't we look at this question by asking viewers and listeners, and you, Judah Wickower, what is the best park in Charlottesville or Albemarle County? And we use that as a barometer for what could be used or implemented at other parks that don't meet the best parks threshold. Was the best park out there?
It's a good question. Hopefully our viewers have some thoughts on this.
I think Darden Towel Park is pretty amazing.
I haven't checked it out in quite a while.
I think Azalea Park is pretty amazing. Azalea Park and Darden Towel both are Albemarle County.
Have they done a lot of work on both of those in recent years?
Azalea Park updated its playground infrastructure considerably.
Okay.
I think those parks are excellent. Darden Towel is one of the best kept secrets out there, whether you're a dog lover, soccer player, tennis, pickleball, walking, hiking. Darden Towel offers a lot. Here's another question. Is it fair to compare city parks to Albemarle County parks?
I was just going to say, I know more about Penn Park than I do about a lot of the others, and
Is Penn Park city?
It's got to be county because it's past my place on.
And you're in the county, right?
Yeah, like right on the border.
Maria Marshall Barnes says Penn Park and Belmont Park. How about a splash pad in one of these parks. We went to a birthday the other day, a couple weeks ago.
Splash pad?
You ever been to where was that splash pad I went to for that birthday party?
What is a splash pad?
Splash Pad, Charlottesville Park. Yeah, where was the splash pad we went to?
Is that like a slip and
Was
slide?
it Greenleaf? I think it was Greenleaf Park. Greenleaf, I believe, has a splash pad that is extremely well maintained. And it's got this rubberized surface, the splash pad, that keeps the heat from burning your feet. If your kid falls, they're falling on this rubberized trampoline-like surface. The splash pad is fantastic for the hot days, for cooling down. And I was really impressed with the cleanliness of the park.
Does a splash pad park require someone to run it?
No. Yeah, Deep Throat highlighting Greenleaf. He also says, City of Seville spending almost $1,000 per household on Parks and Rec, which is around 40% more than the average Virginia independent city. That's a great stat. This is why he's number one in the family. City of Seville spends almost $1,000 per household on parks and recreation, which is around 40% more than the average Virginia independent city.
Nice.
That's a great stat.
Yeah.
Then he throws a little shade at Tonsler Park. Deep Throat, I can't read this comment on Tonsler Park. I'm sorry. I'm not going to read this one. He highlights the cleanliness and niceness of Greenleaf Park. Neil Williamson says, Judah, Penn Park is a city park.
Is it?
Rob Neal says Greenleaf is solid. Yes, splash pad and playground.
Interesting.
The picnic patio area used a lot for birthdays and family reunions. The picnic patio area was used for the birthday our oldest kid went to. So rising first grader's birthday. And it was a splash pad, playground, birthday under the picnic area. Is Market Street, okay, here's another question for you. Of all the parks in the city of Charlottesville, is the most underachieving park in the city of Charlottesville Market Street Park? Give me a park in the city of Charlottesville that underachieves more than Market Street Park. And I'm going to highlight what Market Street Park is, okay?
I mean, just for the fact that Market Street Park has been getting new bolted down benches, that's more than...
This is the amenity that Market Street Park offers. Bolted down benches and some socialization with the houseless.
Yeah.
It has the most visibility of any park in the city. You can make a legitimate argument, the deepest history, whether good and bad, of any park in the city. It has significant drive-by traffic. It's a gateway to downtown Charlottesville, Market Street Park. And all you get with Market Street Park is bolted down benches and a block of grass and next to no shade.
There's some decent trees there.
What amenity does Market Street Park offer?
It doesn't.
What amenity does Court Square Park offer? Court Square Park at least has some cannons.
No, not anymore.
They took the cannons away?
Yeah, years ago. The cannons and the guy with a gun. I mean,
Does Court Square what amenity does Court Square Park have?
court.
Court?
You can get your fingers printed.
Neil Williamson says, Jerry, urban green space has value.
Yeah.
Neil, I appreciate that comment extremely, very much. President of the Free Enterprise Forum, Neil Williamson, donate to the Free Enterprise Forum, please. The man is doing yeoman's work, and he's an all-around A-plus guy. I understand that urban green space has value. I respect that. Folks love to live around Central Park in Manhattan. But I think we could make a very strong argument that Market Street Park is the most underachieving park in the city. Give me another one that's more underachieving than Market Street Park in the city.
I would say Market and Court Square parks are pretty tied for doing very little.
This question's come in via DM, this statement. Would the best use of Market Street Park have been to build vertical and provide office and actual economically built housing for the housing authority instead of them buying the spot in the actual downtown mall? You can't do much as a public space in the size of a current park, in that size of a current park. So this particular individual is saying, should Market Street Park have catered to the housing authority as opposed to the housing authority buying that building at the downtown mall? I had a conversation yesterday with a heavy hitter. You know the heavy hitter I'm referencing here. Let's keep his name off the record. The gentleman we did some work for late last week in regards to his phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm sitting in his office on the downtown mall yesterday. Okay? I'm helping him with some real estate. And as we're talking in his office, this is a gentleman that owns, I don't know, 9 figures of real estate.
Okay.
We got to talking about the CRHA acquisition of the Vita Nova building on the downtown mall. And he was in absolute agreement with us on the show about the CRHA acquisition of that downtown mall building. He said, overpaid. He said, how does that drive value for the downtown mall? He said, the incubator, the food service incubator that CRHA is going to launch in the basement of that building is utilizing taxpayer resources to directly compete against restaurants that are creating tax revenue for the city. He said he knows the apartments on the top level, not a chance in hell that they can be rehabilitated for the estimated $1 million remodel. It's going to be significantly more than that. And he said CRHA has no idea what they're getting themselves into with an elevator building because he owns many of them. Most importantly, what he said, how does this fit the vision of downtown Charlottesville?
Wait, somebody's got a vision for downtown Charlottesville?
That was his pushback. And then he highlighted the email we talked about a couple weeks ago from Friends of Seaville, his buddy Ludwig Kutner, and how Friends of Seaville's got the email chain. It had a deadline yesterday. It sent an e-newsletter out to stakeholders in downtown Charlottesville asking how the houseless population has impacted quality of life in downtown Seaville. I relayed to him, I've already relayed this story previously, and I got to use the PG version of this story. You know the story I'm going to talk about in the courtyard outside of our studio?
Oh, yeah, you love that story. I don't know why, but...
I don't love this story. The story is appalling.
But you tell it like any chance you get.
Do you understand? What's the PG version of this story? I'm here late at night at the studio working on some work after putting kids to bed, walk out the front door of the studio.
And some homeless people wanted to share with you the birds and the bees.
In the
pretty PG.
storefront next to our studio, where the courtyard's not lit appropriately, there was an escapade of the unpleasant variety. I screamed, "What in the hell are you doing?" Or I was appalled and I screamed, "What are you doing?" They looked over and continued the escapade of the unpleasant variety.
There's some great Ella Fitzgerald lyrics for Let's Do It, Let's Fall in Love. Birds do it.
I don't love that story.
Bees do it. Even educated fleas do it.
You love laughing at your own jokes.
What in the world?
You love laughing at your own jokes. All right, I think we've highlighted that. We got some fans outside the studio over here. If I was to make Market Street and Court Square Park better, one of the ways you could do it is to, this is crazy to say, create more benches so people can enjoy it on their lunch break. Consider some shady elements to the parks and improve the amenities of some kind.
I mean, what about, there's something I never see around Charlottesville, is just water fountains.
Yeah, because those cost money to maintain.
Everything costs money.
You know what would happen if you had water fountains in Market Street Park?
What?
What do you think would happen if you had a water fountain in Market Street Park?
People would drink out of them?
It's not what I was going to go with. That would be turning into people's showers.
I mean, that's a terrible argument. That's like the same argument with like.
You don't think that would happen?
It might, but do you not do something for your city just because there's a possibility that somebody may misuse it some way? I mean, there used to be a water fountain on the downtown mall. I don't even think they have that anymore.
I think the water fountain still exists at Central Place in front of Zocalo and Petit Pois.
That big water? I'm talking about drinking fountains.
Oh yeah, no, I think the drinking fountains are not in effect anymore.
That's terrible.
I think one of the reasons the drinking fountains were turned off was where people were using the drinking fountains as a bathing mechanism.
Okay.
That's why the benches were also taken out,
Yep.
because they were utilized as sleeping quarters.
I mean, we've got homeless people on the downtown mall. Maybe we should close the downtown mall.
Well, we do have the Supreme Court decision that now empowers jurisdictions to boot the houseless from sleeping in public places.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, though.
I disagree. I think Friends of Seaville, the lobbying group that Ludwig Kutner's put together that's funded by the heaviest of heavy hitters in Charlottesville, is going to use that Supreme Court decision and the testimonials, the deadline that was yesterday, where stakeholders, landlords, business owners had to send testimonials to Friends of Seaville, the nonprofit, of how the houseless has impacted quality of life. I think they're going to bundle those testimonials with the Supreme Court decision and create a fairly compelling presentation for City Council in the very near future.
Maybe.
You don't think that's what's happening?
I think that would be.
I mean, Ludwig has reason for this to materialize with his holdings downtown.
Yeah.
I saw Ludwig today. He was cleanly shaven, did not have a beard on him.
Wow.
That man has a zest for life. Whenever I see him,
He's got a zest for colorful suits too.
he has a positive aura around him. Enjoyed running into him today.
Alrighty then.
So how you improve Market Street Park, before we get off this topic, what would you do?
Oh man, I mean, like I said, I'd put water fountains in some of these parks. I'd put I don't know, do something to encourage activity that's not just people sitting on benches. I don't know what that would be. They need somebody, just like Charlottesville, they need somebody with a vision.
Well, they're soliciting that.
But that's not vision. Soliciting ideas is not vision. We don't know what to do. We're hoping somebody has a good idea. But what happens 2 or 3 years down the line?
Maria Marshall Barnes says it does not need a fountain in Market Street Park. That would be a disastrous idea.
A drinking fountain?
No, a fountain.
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking about big, giant water fountains everywhere. I just mean like drinking fountains. I mean like what? I don't know. I obviously compare everything to.
Oh my gosh, is this the Savannah comparison?
I'm just saying I compare everything to Savannah, Georgia, and they have great parks, but I haven't lived there in over 20 years. Maybe everything has gone to heck in a handbasket, the same as Charlottesville, and they've got homeless people living in the parks, and they're pulling out the benches and the drinking fountains. Who knows?
I'd love to see a splash pad at one of these parks.
But not a drinking fountain.
I'm tongue-in-cheek here. Could you see friends of the program, Joe Plantania and Mr. Jim Hingley, utilizing the splash pad after winning a court decision?
Yeah, I could. Jim Hingley would still be wearing his straw hat. And
Huge fan of those men. Huge fan of those guys on the I Love CVille show. All right, a couple of other items out of the notebook. Put the UVA athletes in Paris. The Olympics, guys, right around the corner, and the University of Virginia is extremely well represented in the Olympics. So if you're looking for some sports to watch, you love the Olympics like I do. I in particular love the Summer Olympics. You got Wahoos all over the place. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 swimmers with UVA ties in the Paris Olympics, and 1 Crozet high schooler in the Olympics. Also, Todd DeSorbo, the UVA coach, is the U.S. swimming coach. You have 2 rowers in the Paris Olympics, a Paralympian and an Olympian, Heidi Long and Sky Dahl. You have a women's soccer player, Emily Sonnet. You have a men's soccer player, Joe Bell. You have 2 tennis players in the Paris Olympics, Emma Navarro and Danielle Collins. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 track and field athletes, an equestrian athlete, and a Paralympic athlete in goalball, and then some Olympic alternatives. The Olympics starts in approximately 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. Enjoy Team USA in Paris, and then watch these UVA athletes as a subplot, and a fantastic time to be an American. I got Holly Foster watching the program. She says, I'm enjoying the show from Bermuda this afternoon. First time I was around while you were on. Go UVA at the Olympics. Thank you, Holly Foster, for watching in Bermuda. She's a well-traveled lady.
no doubt.
Multiple people are saying, please, dear God, don't put a fountain in Market Street Park. A fountain in Market Street Park would turn into...
A drinking fountain?
No, we're talking about like the actual fountain. It would be a cesspool.
I never said.
I think Judah's alluding to the drinking fountain, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
He's alluding to the drinking fountain. I say just put some benches on there so people can enjoy it on their lunch break.
Some benches on where?
Margaret, there's few benches.
Market Street Park has.
They're always taken,
They've got like 9 or 10 benches.
but they're always taken.
There's one of them that's usually got somebody sleeping on it. There's the one over across from the library.
There's one of them that clearly is a spot for some.
There are almost always free benches at Market Street Park.
There's clearly drug dealing going on at Market Street Park.
Okay.
I'm not going to call it significant drug dealing, but you clearly see drug dealing going on at Market Street Park.
Okay. I haven't, but
I mean, I go through that park. You go through that park every day?
usually, yeah.
I go to that park probably every day too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dot the I's and cross the T's on your Hillsdale story. And then I'll encourage the viewers and listeners to try 2 items at 2 restaurants that I absolutely loved.
I mean, as we probably all know by now, Hydraulic and Hillsdale are closed for the time being, I think until August, sometime in August, if we're lucky. And it's affected traffic pretty far and wide around Charlottesville. I've noticed changes in my morning route to work, and I'm nowhere close to Hydraulic.
And you have like the shortest commute of anybody to work.
It is fairly short,
5 minutes?
give or take. It can,
Walk out your door, get in the car, and by the time you're parking, you're out of your car in 5 minutes.
I'd say it's a little bit longer than that, but especially with the changes. But yeah, it's not a long commute. I'm sure people. I've heard people talking about how to go about getting into Whole Foods. I've heard people who live on Hillsdale or in the area saying that it's almost impossible to get out of their house now. We're definitely going to be seeing the effects for the next month and a half. So good luck, everyone.
And did
Be
you see
be
that they're-
kind.
Did you see what they're doing on Emmett Street with the walking bridge?
I believe they're taking it down and putting a new one in.
They're taking down the bridge. That's going to be a cluster.
Yeah. Let's hope they have better plans than Hydraulic and Hillsdale does.
This leads me back to the gondola system around Central Virginia. I know you laugh at that idea. A gondola system connecting key points in Central Virginia with park and ride options. A gondola system, Pantops, 29 North, Barracks, Keswick, Southside.
How about pneumatic tubes?
Are those like the tubes where you go to a bank and you send the teller
Yeah.
what you want to deposit?
Just step into this little.
That's like the Jetsons.
Step in this little tube, shut the door, and whew, off you go.
George Jetson, there he goes. All right, I'll close the program with a little bit of fun here. We love to support local businesses. If you have yet to try the duck egg rolls at Dooner's Restaurant, they're probably the best egg rolls I've ever had. Christian Kelly is the owner and executive chef at Dooner's. Loved seeing his wonderful wife, Jen, and their daughter in the front of the house. Fletcher, the bartender at Dooner's. We had the duck egg rolls a couple of days ago. They are out of this world good. I'm serious, the best egg rolls I've ever had, Christian Kelly. Dooner's Restaurant, the duck egg rolls. Last night, my wife and I, our two boys, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law went to Vivace Restaurant. We got there at 5 o'clock, took the family out for dinner. We sat at the bar area and we got pizza. We got calamari, margaritas, and the popcorn. And the pizza at Vivace is dynamite. Take your parents, get the pizza, they will love it. Priced well. It is fantastic. So 2 pieces of food review advice for you, both positive, the duck egg rolls at Dooner's and the pizza at Vivace. Any closing thoughts, Judah Wickower, for your adoring fans?
Oh man, let's see.
Neil, the gondola system would crush it. He shares a link to 11 urban gondolas changing the way people move. Gondola system in Charlottesville would be amazing. Tied to park and rides for the gondola system. All right, your closing thoughts.
I've got my own food review.
Oh.
I had a meal at Smyrna,
Oh, you did?
and it was.
When'd you do that?
I think it was maybe Monday.
Who'd you go with?
Family.
Okay.
My sister and niece were in town. Man.
Did you get the burger?
No.
What'd you get?
We just got small plates, and there was nothing that wasn't great.
Wow.
It was all good. Tuna. What is it? What's that raw tuna? Ceviche? Tuna. I think that's what it is. That was delicious. There was calamari.
Love calamari.
Incredible calamari. Lamb kebabs. Delicious. We got salmon. Everything. Just amazing. I didn't want to leave. My family left me there. I just sat there and kept eating.
That's not true.
Yeah.
You just cleared all the plates?
I mean, it was all, they were all shared plates. So
You stayed by yourself while your family left?
yeah, I still had some of my cocktail left, and they were.
A lot of people don't know this about Judah Wickower. Maybe the slowest eater I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, I'm not going to argue.
I'll close with this. I would love to see some kind of leadership from Albemarle County, its school board, and its superintendent's office today. Some kind of acknowledgement or addressing what happened with this principal at Henley. If at the very least we hear, pending an internal investigation, the principal's been put on administrative leave. We'll provide details as the internal investigation reveals them.
She will be shuffled to a new location in Virginia. No, I'm joking.
They have 5 weeks before school starts,
Yeah.
and a lot of parents are asking questions. That's the Thursday edition of the I Love CVille show. For Judah Wickower, I'm Jerry Miller. So long, everybody.